So here's our basic layout for the kitchen. Again, you can see we've got our appliances, a plumbing fixture, and we have our countertop. What I would recommend that you do first is let's go ahead and put in the counters, both the base counter and then also the cabinets above, and then we'll come back in to put in the appliances and plumbing fixture. So starting from left to right and using these notes as reference, okay, you can see here that we've got some dimensions laid out, actually starting from the left wall here towards this direction. And so for that, here's what I would recommend you do. Again, since we have all these different dimensions, you might want to go ahead and start using interior construction lines, or you might want to create a whole separate set of construction lines on your own. Let's see, I'll go ahead and delete these since I don't need them anymore. And here you can see that you're going to want to be aligned, once again, not with the base of the wall, but actually with the finish wall. Okay, so for example, I'm going to delete that one there, and using the interior construction line layer, let's set up some new reference lines. So first we'll get a vertical one and then a horizontal one. Now from left to right, I don't need this right now, so I'm just going to close it. From left to right, we've got an offset of 2, 1, 2, 2, 6, and 2. So if I offset first 24, from left to right, I'll offset again 12, from left to right, and then offset again 24, from left to right, and then we have 2 feet 6 inches, so I'll offset again 2 feet 6 inches from left to right. Then we have the 2 feet. Okay, so this is just showing me where the things go, right? Now vertically or horizontal, referring to the horizontal construction line here, we can do some vertical offsets. So we have an offset of 1 foot or 12 inches. Okay, and from that same reference line we have another 24-inch offset. There's that. And then where we have the angling here, we've got a 1 foot offset from that 2 foot offset. So offset again and 12 inches. Okay, so now we got all these little intersections there. And if you'll notice, okay, before we start getting very confused, let's just work with one side first, right? So how should I read this? It's like connecting all the dots. So again, let's change layers. Let's go to the A cabinet layer here. I'll work with a polyline. And if we follow from right to left, find the last 2 foot offset, right? Here's the finish wall. We're going to come forward 2 feet, right? You've got the 2 feet from here to there, the 2, 6, the 2 feet, and then we have our angle right there. And then as I come down this way, right, we've got an overall length there of 5 feet. So I can just point in that direction and type 5 feet. Right, you can see that's where it terminates, and that's where it comes in and finishes at the finish wall. All right, so there's the counters. If I freeze this information here, freeze the construction line, you could actually see it better. Okay, let's undo that. So there's that, and if I wanted to see it a little bit better, I can select that line, do a right click, do the draw order to bring to front. And that way the lines of the counter will be on top of the construction lines. All right, now that we have that, let's take a look at creating the lines of the cabinets above. All right, now here we also have a little offset, and if I start with polyline, let's switch layers first. I start with polyline, you'll be able to see that we start from this point right here, 1 foot away from the wall. All right, this is for the cabinets above. Now we could draw our line from here, since it's part of the cabinet line, to here, and then follow it all the way along to, I believe this is where that intersection occurs, right? And this is where that top part of the cabinets above are. And then we need to indicate here our, let's do, I believe it's like a 220 angle there, parallel to this guy right here. Okay, since I have my polar tracking on right now, it's really easy for me to see that. So if I click there, then I could terminate it over here. Okay, and that would be my cabinets above. When I look at this area over here to show my cabinets there, I've got a really long one that goes over the fridge and comes over part way over here. Okay, but once again, it's 1 foot away from the finished wall on this side. You could see this edge right here represents where the refrigerator would go. So again, if I start with polyline from here, I want to come out 1 foot, okay, and then now I could follow the line there, and you could see here, let's double check what the length of that is. So from here, what we're going to do is go up 4'8", and then bring it in towards the finished wall. So that's our cabinets above. Now what we can go ahead and do is we'll put in our plumbing and appliance features, and for that we could probably freeze our construction lines and just use the reference lines that we see there. So once again, if we start with our let's say appliances, I'm going to switch to that layer. I'll go ahead and use Control 3. We'll bring in the refrigerator, for example. I'll just place it and then position it by selecting it and then using Move. We'll line it up over here in the corner, right up against the finished wall. And of course, you probably will have some spacing there, 2 to 4 inches max. But again, it's a very simple schematic drawing that we just want to lay out very quickly. Well, one thing I noticed before we continue here is that we don't have the right location of that upper cabinet or the refrigerator. And one way I can double check that is look into your notes for the dimensions. And just to illustrate it here, from this edge here, I have a 3-inch gap. So if I offset 3 inches, and then I have the width of the refrigerator, which is 211 there. All right, this is where the refrigerator and the above or overhead cabinet should line up. Now there's a couple things I could do. One of the easiest would be to use stretch, and what I would do here is simply enclose the grips of the lines that I want to modify. Okay, and you can see here, if I come up to the very edge there and then hit enter, now I should be able to move all of these things, but you see I didn't capture that last grip point, but I should be able to slide it up like that. Let's try it again. With stretch, what I could do here is simply create a backward selection and then hit enter, and now pick a base point and then follow it up. That way it brings in this edge, and it also brings in the refrigerator. So I think now we have the right offsets, right location there, and we can proceed. So once again, with appliances here, the next thing I have would be my dishwasher, and that guy is going to go slide right in about 1.5 inches from the corner here, right? So if I just put in a temporary construction line and I offset 1.5 inch towards the top, then this block here, if I right click and use Move, I can line it up from here to there. You can see the overhang, right? The projection below our counter there, and remove those temporary construction lines and continue. So with the next thing we have is our stove there, and remember that would be 2 feet from this corner. If I turn on those construction lines, I'll be able to see it again. All right, so right in this area is where the stove goes. So locate the stove, All right, bring it in, match it up there. I can freeze those construction lines one more time. And then I have the washer dryer in this area here. Okay. Now I got to flip this around to make the front face that way. And I could do that simply by selecting and using rotate. Just rotate it around and then use move to position it. All right, right up against that finish. All right, now we also have our sink, so we'll bring that in. And here what we'll want to do is we'll want to line it up with the center of the window there, but not right up against it, okay? We can have an inch or two there offset, make sure that goes in well, okay? Now, with that, I think that completes the layout of the kitchen. Again, very simplistically, as a concept, schematic drawing. And to finish this up, we'll, in the next few steps that follow, we'll add annotations and dimensions and things like that.